Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
All right, we're going to get started. We're going to start off with prayer, go into the praise and worship, and then get right into the word. Father, y'all, we come before you right now, just thanking right now for your son, Yahushua Mashiach.
Yes,
Father, y'all, we thank right now for just being with us throughout this day. We repent, Father, y'all, for every sin that we know of, Father, y'all, every sin we know of and every sin that we know not of. Father, y'all, we thank right now for just being with us, Father, y'all, and leading us to all righteousness and to all truth, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, we thank that we're free from all forms of bondage, all forms of sickness, all forms of disease. Father, y'all, we pray for all those that are out there that are sick, Father, y'all, all those that are out there that are bound by the enemy, whether it be mentally, Father, y'all, or whether it be physically, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, we pray that they be set free, Father, y'all, by the word of you, Father, y'all. Father, y'all, we just thank you right now for the anointing of you, Father, y'all, being upon us that destroys every yoke, Father, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Father, y'all, we just magnify your name right now. We thank you right now for this day that you have set aside, and we should continue rejoicing and be glad in it even more, Father, y'all. In the name of Son, Yahushua Mashiach, we pray. So be it.
So be it.
All right, shalom, everybody. We're back. We're going to get into Isaiah chapter 61, letting them know that Yahuwah has anointed him to preach the gospel. And so we're going to get into Isaiah chapter 61. And it's going to kind of just get into the idea of knowing that, you know, when Yahuwah has anointed you to do something, it's actually a job that has to be done that's not, I would say, always pleasing to everybody. Sometimes it's has to be with rebuke. Sometimes it has to be building things up, and you have to tear things down sometimes, like he told the prophet Jeremiah. So it's not always pleasant to everybody else because it's work. You know, when you're actually ministering and you're preaching the gospel, it's work involved. And, you know, like I understand now, you know, we have the social media and the internet stuff, but when you begin to get hands on, it involves a lot of work. And the work, you know, you may have to rebuke somebody, you know, you may have to tell them a few things that they don't like about themselves just so they can better themselves. And sometimes you have to do that, especially when it comes to friends or somebody you may know. Sometimes offense may be taken because a lot of times people don't realize that the Most High, he used just about whoever he want to use. And when he used somebody, it doesn't mean so much as what that person is doing. I understand that we need to live right and we have to make sure that our work is effective, you know, to those that we minister to. But at the same time, you know, don't be surprised who the Most High may use to tell you something. That's the thing. You got to be open. You know, it can be a drunk or somebody homeless or whatever. They may say something and the word could be used by the Most High just to tell you something. You may look and say, well, dang, who they think they are? And you're looking at their life, but you ain't receiving what can help you. So it ain't even all about whether or not a minister or a preacher is telling you something and whether or not they have their life together. But what about the person that the Most High may just use? And it said in the last days, gonna pour his ruach upon all flesh. So, you know, it could be anybody. I've got to work with somebody before about things, and I know for a fact the Most High told me, said it had nothing to do with anything about the Bible. Just a random person said something that confirmed what I need to have been doing. That was it. And sometimes we have to be open to that. We can't be so prideful to the point where we shade up, you know, information that can come from someone that seemed to be of a low estate or seem to be esteemed very low or something that's, you know, that looks dirty or whatever like that. We can't look at the outward appearance of when the Most High is using somebody to tell you something. Sometimes you just have to do whatever you have to do. That's why the Muhammad Shia say, hey, if y'all don't praise me, these rocks will cry out. Like something has to happen. So sometimes this given time here, where we at, just don't be surprised, you know, who you may hear something from. Always be open to hear what Yah is saying and get out of this religious mindset of someone walking up to you looking some type of way. They don't have to look a certain type of way to tell you something. They don't have to look how you think in your mind they should look. Like even when we entertain strangers, entertain an angel unaware, don't think it's gonna be wings or the person has to be neat or look like they're a business person. It can be anybody. This is what we're missing at, trying to discern and judge based upon carnal, you know, judgment, what the individual should look like that's going to tell you something. You'll miss the actual word and the instruction by brushing them off. And you can't brush them off because sometimes it can be detrimental because remember, if it's coming from Yah, then you need to hear it, but you're not hearing it because you're stuck into this mind frame of what people have, the picture that's been painted, how a preacher should look, you know, how, you know, a minister should look or who should be saying it, you know, whether it's a lady, a man, an old person, young person. None of this is going to matter when it gets to a point where this word is to the point where you need it to live. If it's something you need to do that's a detrimental life decision, if it's sickness, and disease or something that attach itself to you. It can be someone that come up and tell you to, to take some elderberry, just giving you an example, anything, whatever they may say. And it's like you say, I've been thinking that in my head, but you may brush it off because the person came up, may have a smell to them or something. I'm just trying to be raw because you just can't, what I'm saying? You can't, you can't just think that, okay, well, they should have took a bath. I mean, well, it doesn't work like that. I mean, this thing, you have to be open. I'm trying to help people that are shallow, what I'm saying, that don't understand that, it doesn't work like that. When it comes at a time that you need to hear it. What I'm saying? And it may be just random. You know how it is when you see the movies where spirits jump into individuals, kind of like the Matrix, and it just happens. Where it can be a situation like that where the word gets downloaded right when they walk in your path, and they may say something walking past you on the sidewalk, in the store, anything, to be just what you need to hear. And it may have came to them at that moment. Well, there was no time to do anything. It's just that you have to be open to receive whether this is something that I need to hear or not. And that's just it. If you can't do that, you'll miss a whole lot by being judgmental, looking for a person to appear a certain way. You can't, you got to get out of religious mindset and begin to be open to receive things, no matter if it look like it's a bomb or whatever. It ain't that you entertain a lot of people that can seem harmful, but it's just in these times, you're going to know it because the moment is going to be just right. You'll know that it's the Most High if you're tuned in any kind of way. And so we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 61. We're going to read the first part, which I guess we would say verses. We know we're going to deal with verses, but we'll read that, number one, Isaiah 61.
The Ruach Adonai Yahuwah is upon me, because Yahuwah has anointed me to preach the Besorah and to the meek. He has set me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Okay, so we know that the word says, I know in the book of Matthew, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the kingdom of Shamayim, or the kingdom of heaven, some say. And the reason why is because meek are able to receive things. They're not proud, they're not haughty, they're not, lifting themselves up. They're easily to be entreated. You know what I'm saying? People that are meek, they're able to receive things without being overly judgmental and stuff like that. Like, you got a lot of people that's so jacked up to, you can't tell them anything. It's like they want to try to do a checklist of your whole life before they even hear what you got to say, and they miss the word. And it don't even be that deep. It don't be like, we can't make things so deep to the point where we brush off the meek. Like, everybody doesn't have to seem like they got to take over the world to tell you something. Like, you have to be able to receive stuff from people that's just talking plain. Like, you don't have to go jump off a million pews if you're in a church or whatever to come give somebody a word from Yah. You don't have to, go, shouting into a whole lot of tongue, jumping backflip. All that stuff is fine if you're praising Yah for real, if it's not the, the Kundalini Ruach or anything like that. And if you're really, praising him, but at the same time, we have to look like the meek are the ones that, the Most High is set up to actually do these things. So it's like you have to look at who's able to receive the word from Yah and who are you able to receive the word from also. And so the way that this is set up, Isaiah was just letting them know what he came to do, and the fact that he had been anointed, set aside to do a job. It's been consecrated by the Most High. He's got the favor and the grace of Yah to do this job. And that's what it is. So he said, I have the favor and the grace. And it's like, if you're not anointed by Yah, you don't have the favor and the grace. It's like people that have street ministries and stuff like that, and prison ministries. Well, these people are anointed to do this. This is the job that they have at hand. And the Most High is anointing them to do this, so they have the grace. So when they go in there, they don't have to worry about being taken advantage of or being harmed in that, because they're coming as a representative of the Most High. But if you're on your own mission, then you got to deal with whatever comes to you. But if you're sent by Yah, he's going to give you the grace to deal with this. If you have a anointing to deal with the homeless, then that anointing is there. In this case, he say he has anointing, to actually go and get those that are broke, that have broken hearts. He's going to actually bind their hearts back together again. And you can only do this by the power of Yah, someone that's been broken by certain traumas and things of that nature. Just like when you have Paul and Silas say at midnight, they begin to pray and sing psalms, sing hymns. And at midnight, at that point, everything began to happen where the earth began to quake and the chains began to break up off of them based upon what was going on. They were not going to be bound anymore. And see, that's mirroring what he said he came to do. Those that are in prison, you want to set them free. You remember Peter, released from prison. Everything that's been set up is all mirroring the same thing. And so he's setting up, like, if you've been held captive, you're going to be set free. So you don't have to worry about being held captive if you're in the Most High. It's like he's not going to let you stay bound. You're not going to be bound. So if you know that there's a situation that's got you bound, all you got to do is just come unto him, because it's actually going to get you in a position where you can be released when you start hearing the word. And when you mirror this right here, this first verse, it lets you know that if you're sent by Yah, that's your job. That's the mission you have, to go and set those free, those that have been held captive and that are bound. If someone is bound, then they don't want to be in a position like that, because it's like they're crying out, but they don't have the power. Just like the man that was actually cutting himself in the tombs and everything. Like they say, he cut himself in tombs, he was chained, no one can keep him bound. But when Yahushua Mashiach stepped on the scene, he ran, and them demons began to cry out. And saying at that particular time, they began to make requests. But remember, Yahushua Mashiach was in charge, because they asked him for permission to go into the swine. They didn't just go into the swine and say he granted them permission. Then they went into the swine. It's a protocol. It's like you're not finna just do what you want to do when you're in the Most High. This is why the Ruach of fear does not operate. Like, when you actually operate in the Most High, you can't have the Ruach of fear with it too, because sometimes there are things you have to do that you need to be fearless to do the task. It's like you may have to speak to one that won't receive anything from you unless they know it's the Most High. And when you go say that word, you have to be able to say that word with the idea of knowing that they may not receive it then, and later they may come back to you and say, look, they may be broken, crying or whatever, and come back and say, I'm so glad you told me this. I mean, and this right here just kind of gives me chills in a sense, because it's the idea that we can't let a person's character stop us from giving them the word of Yah, because it can save their life. If you're in a position where you can actually, give somebody something, even though they may seem to be prideful or whatever it may be, you tell them that, you'll be surprised what happens behind closed doors. They may break totally down, and just glad that you had enough guts to come to them, because nobody else will come to them because of how they were, how they carried. We can't let, because people act up, want to act the fool, when people just brush people off as, oh, that's just how they are. No, it's not how they are. They need an attitude check, and it's Ruach operating up in them. So you can't just brush it off as nothing. Give them that word. Be firm. Say what you got to say. Don't add nothing extra. Don't take nothing away. Be direct and say, this is it. No disrespect. This is what I need to tell you. They'll receive it. As long as you come straight up and direct. Don't beat around the bush. Don't turn to the left or right. Go direct at them and say, look, this is what the Most High say you need to stop doing, you need to do, or hey, whatever the situation is, you need to straighten this up in your life. When you do that, a lot of people, they may not show it to you right then, but behind closed doors, they breaking down and they crying because they needed to hear that. And it's like everybody ain't going to express their emotions in front of you all the time. It's like we have learned this in religion, that you're supposed to just pour everything out when someone comes giving you a word. It's not like that. People don't receive things like that. So you have to give it in confidence. As long as you know you gave the word of Yah in confidence, the job is being done. Just like they say, like the apostles say, I have water and Apollos have planted, and Yah gave the increase. It may go vice versa, but we know one planted, one water, and it's Yah that give the increase. We can't go to them planting water at the same time and want it to all grow right in front of you. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes it may take years. Sometimes it may take weeks, or it may take, a moment or two, but it's not all going to all be done at that time. We have to make sure that we're going to preach the gospel to them and let them know what this says Yah. And this is in the prophetic, because, a lot of times, it's not going to be biblically written what needs to happen. Like a lot of people won't be so gun-ho and say, well, I didn't see that written in the Bible. Well, it's not going to be written in the Bible. Don't go hang out with them, because somebody going to start shooting next week and you're going to get killed. So we can't focus on that. Just give the word. Anybody that's that technical, don't even worry about it. Just give the word and move on. And this is the way you have to do this. This is what they done back then, because they literally hated Jeremiah. They wanted to kill him. They're saying like that. They hated his guts. And it's like, no matter what, they say, we will not do it. It's times when they even shut their ears up. So it's like, we have to look at, they don't care, about sometime when you come to give that word, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be given, and it can change their life, or it can not change their life, but you still got to tell it like that. And you have to do what the Most High is saying do. So we're going to go to verse 2.
Isaiah 61:2.
Yeah.
To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn,
You keep going.
to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they may be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, that he may be glorified.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts of this chapter. The beautiful ashes and the joyful mourning, the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness. It's a lot right there, and it all boils down into what we're going to turn to. We're going to turn to Matthew 11:28, and this is kind of answer that sums a lot of this up. Matthew 11:28, and we're going to go 28, 29, and 30. What we're going to read.
Matthew chapter 11:28 reads, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest."
All right, so you see, say, "Come unto me, all you that are laboring and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So this is Yahushua Mashiach saying he's going to give you this rest. Go ahead.
"Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light."
And that sums all that up. When you do that, everything that they just mirrored there going to come to you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to get the beautiful ashes and all this. You're going to get whatever heaviness that you got. When you put on that garment of begin to praise him, you know what I'm saying? Everything else going to be lifted up at that point, because this is all you're doing. Praise not so much in the actual physical action of praise, but I'm talking about praise in your actions in general. Like, are you doing this and that? I'm doing this right here, and through doing this, I'm praising Yah. Not so much as just saying praise Yah. You know what I mean? Like that, because a lot of people say it with their mouth, but your actions that you do doesn't follow. It doesn't show that you're praising Yah. Like you saying, okay, I'm praising Yah, but at the same time, am I actually doing this, as a righteousness act unto Yah? You know what I'm saying? Am my ways praising unto Yah? I mean, just if you want to translate it like that, like, the deeds I'm doing, is it pleasing in Yah's eyesight? Like, cause see, you just saying like worshiping him in word only is not enough. It has to be also in deed. And so if you actually come unto him, and if anything, when I'm talking about the labor that you got, like a lot of people are laboring heavy on jobs for the man because they ain't came unto him. And if you come unto him, he'll make that easy. See, he'll begin to touch, like if your boss is acting like an enemy or something like that, he'll begin to make the enemy begin to come at peace with you, like the words say, when a man ways please him. So there's no way around it. Like you have to work, yeah, but it don't have to be grievous. It don't have to be hard. He'll make the very job that was once hard that you worked on begin to be easier, like that. And this is what it's saying. It'll have to be. It won't just stay grind. It'll begin to be to a point where you'll then have to start praying for those that are envying you, because now they're mad because it looks like you ain't doing nothing. But you are doing something. This is what the Most High told you to do. The very fact that you're being obedient unto him and your ways are pleasing to him, you're doing that. And through doing that, it makes the job seem like it's nothing. And then everybody else is looking like, okay, man, why does it seem like he got it so sweet? Because you belong to somebody and they don't. That's the difference. See, that's where they get it mixed up at. Since you belong to the Most High, now the job that you once did that was hard, he separated you on this job and put you in an easier position, or made it easier for you to do it, even if it became easily mentally and you can understand how to make it easy. Sometimes we make it hard. And whatever it is, he may give you a mind frame to the point where they'll still see you physically doing the work, but it'll seem like it's not bothering you. And it's not causing you to actually be grievous like a lot of them are. So these are the benefits that you have, that when you're dealing with the Most High, he'll begin to make it seem like a piece of cake. One of my words I like to use is like easy. And so it's like when you're doing that, a lot of people start looking like saying, okay, well, man, why it seems like every time I turn around, well, they sitting over here doing this and I'm doing this. It's because he's touched the boss' heart and gave you favor. And since you have favor, now you don't have it hard like them. It's like you're not in the category. You're supposed to be set apart. So you're not going to be, just because you're working with somebody, don't mean that y'all are the same. Y'all are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like this, what they talk about, one man and all this stuff being equal. There's no equality in the Most High when it boils down with you versus the heathen, you versus the world. No, you're better. And since you are, the Most High is going to show you by rewarding you on the job or wherever you are. He's going to make it where it's not stressful. He's going to make it where it's not a heaviness that's upon you, because now you came unto him. You're not trying to carry the load on your own. If you try to carry the load on your own, then it's going to make it seem like, you're trying to do it and you don't need any help. But long as you present it unto him and bring it to him, he'll fix it. But you have to be willing to do that. And to do that, you have to be honest with yourself and get rid of the skeletons that's in the closet. All the things that's holding you back, anything that's got you bound, that's making you too ashamed to even ask this for the Most High, because you're doing this, stop doing that. And then bring this to him and say, it's going to take a sacrifice. You're not going to be able to get around it. I know going around, you got to give something up to get this peace, to get this shalom. The shalom doesn't come by you doing everything you want to do. You have to give something up. If you're not willing to give something up, then it's going to be hard, because you're going to constantly feel like you're not worthy because you have something that you're hiding. If you don't hide it, just be upfront with it. Just stop. Just all you got to do is just stop. Once you stop, then you'll feel confident enough to come to the Most High, and you'll feel like you're worthy. And then at that point, you can say, look, I've stopped this. You can be direct. Hey, I stopped doing this. I know I was doing that. I repented. I've turned. I'm not going to do that no more. I need this. I need you to help me do this because I'm having a problem with it. That's it. As simple as that. It's not going to be, there's no tricks to it or nothing. It just takes a sacrifice. Once you sacrifice it, the Most High is going to fix it. Some things people are involved in is not even of the Most High. Certain things you may be even doing is not even of the Most High. We ain't even going to break it down. It can be job, relationship wise, whatever it may be. The person y'all ain't married, whatever, something going on, Most High may want you to break out of that, but you're trying to hold on to something that you want to do and it's not fruitful to him. Like that it's an unequally yoked situation going on. And the Most High is not pleading with that when you're not already set up. He don't tell you to go out there and seek somebody that's unequally yoked. I mean, that's a whole different ball game from being with somebody already, and one begins to come into the Most High and then the other one didn't come into the Most High. If you have enough knowledge about this word, you should know at this point, if you're even involved, if you're claiming to be saved or anything or born again, you should know not to go seek a heathen as a mate. That's it. That should be something that you shouldn't even, shouldn't even cross your mind. Somebody that's not saved that you're trying to yoke together with. No, we're dealing with people that's already in this situation that know that, okay, look, they didn't want to be involved in this, but just through me, they're going to be sanctified because I believe in the Most High. So the unbelieving is going to be sanctified, you know what I'm saying, by the believer. That's how that's going to work. So, and this is what we're looking at, just making sure that we present these things to the Most High when you're in a position where you know that you need something, or you know that something is stressing you out or something is bothering you. You just got to do the old school inventory check on yourself and say, okay, look, let me do a check and see, what am I doing? Let me do a real, true inventory check on my life and say, what am I doing that's not pleasing to the Most High, that I know in my mind that's not pleasing to the Most High? If you at least do that part, just the regular ABCs of it, he'll begin to help you in the rest of it. Because if you're not aware of something, then you praying about it, he'll begin to bring somebody to let you know, hey, look, you shouldn't be doing that too. But for the most part, most of us are smart enough to know the few things that we can be doing. A lot of it summed up to attitude things of the flesh, certain things that you know you shouldn't be doing or consuming, whatever it may be. Those things, if you at least straighten a few of them out, then I think the Most High begin to show the rest to you, or either bring somebody that can help you, or you may read it in the word and say, look, I think this is similar to what I'm doing. I shouldn't be doing it. Backbiting or whatever it may be. We just have to figure it out, because we don't have to be bound. That's the thing. I mean, that bondage is not for us. We don't have to be bound. No, he came to set us free. He didn't want us to be in any type of bondage. All the healing for anything we need is for us. If all we got to do is just come to him and just begin to lay down our ways and pick up what he wants us to do and just sacrifice. This is sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? To live right is not hard. It's just a sacrifice. We can't just do what we want to do. We have to realize that we're bought with a price. It's like we're saying we bought with a price, but it's like we're not doing it. It's like we have to, if you're bought with a price, then the person that bought you don't want you doing certain things. And they told you what they were in this. And if you read it, you'll look at it and you'll say, okay, look, I've been bought with a price. I shouldn't be backbiting. I shouldn't be lying, cheating, or shouldn't be doing this and that. Hey, look, I need to get this together. And once you do that, then everything is going to work out, you know what I'm saying, in your favor. You'll still have to go through a few things, but it shouldn't be totally against the grain hard 24/7. If it's like that, totally contrary, and it seems like everything is just totally against the grain, something else is wrong, because your whole life shouldn't be that totally where it seems like there's just a complete struggle where you're pulling your hair out 24/7, you're at the brink of having a stroke or a heart attack or something. That's not the Most High. That means it's something that you need to straighten up. I mean, like, it's just not how he operates. So just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that may be confused about this, because it's like, if you actually just, I'm a living witness, if you actually just come and be honest to the Most High, he'll give you some shalom. You know what I'm saying? You can get shalom. You don't have to live, in stress 24/7. Now, people get stressed out by things, but your whole life, if it's just constant stress, it's something wrong. It's something you need to let go, something you need to accept, or whatever it may be. certain things, if you just tweak those things and just get them lined up, then the stress will leave eventually. It has to go. It can't stay there once you're not trying to hold on to what you should be, that you're holding on to, or not trying to, you're pushing something away that you need to be receiving, whatever it may be. It's some fight that's going on that you need to stop fighting against sometime. And once you learn whatever that is, when you do the inventory, the shalom is coming after that. It's coming. All you got to do is come to the Most High. I know His word is true because I was stressed a lot at one point, and I'm not like that anymore. So I know I'm a living witness. I mean, like that, it happens. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just be honest with yourself and say, why am I stressing? If it's something you did to cause it, you have to receive it, accept it, be content until it changed, and just be working on what needs to work on to get back in position where it's no longer causing that type of stress and turmoil, because it's only torment coming from the enemy. This isn't coming from the Most High, stress. We'll stop up right here.
I read.
Okay, let's go to verse 4. Did you read verse 3 yet? Of Isaiah 61?
Oh no. Verse 4.
Yeah.
Isaiah 61:4. And they shall build the old ways, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
Okay, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 1 and look at the 10th verse. And we're still dealing with when you're preaching the gospel, sometimes, like I said, it takes a rebuking, it takes a tearing down and building up. It ain't all just talk. It ain't all just mirroring what you read in Matthew. Like, there was some work that was being done when you read it. And sometimes you have to do work at a different approach that's going to be similar to that. And so you can go ahead. 1 and
Jeremiah
10.
1 and 10.
Yeah.
See, I have this day set you over nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
See, that's a whole lot of stuff. That's what you call work. I'm saying, this is what he's saying. So I've set you over nations. Say to root out. So you're rooting out things that are not like the Most High, to pull down other things. You know what I'm saying? In this case, we know we had a lot of stuff going on where there was a lot of false deities and stuff like that, but we dealing with it from where we at. Whatever it is that needs to be pulled down, to destroy whatever needs to be destroyed, to throw down whatever needs to be thrown down, and also to build and to plant. He ain't just leaving it that way. He's going to build it back and going to plant more. So it's like, it's not going to be just destroying everything. This makes me think about when Yahushua Mashiach had to go into the temple and he whooped them out. They was in there trying to get a gang going on off of the house that's supposed to be the house of prayer. Like, they let them know, get out of there. It's supposed to be a house of prayer. And once they got out of there, I'm sure he put some stuff in there that's supposed to be in there, people that's praying, right? So it's like, this is just a simple example. But sometimes you have to go and just destroy a whole setup. Sometimes it's like people's mind frame be so messed up, you may have to go to a whole group of people and just tell them, look, erase all that. That's not the way of the Most High. This is the way of the Most High, and get them back on track again. It's like, but you have to tie down that way of thinking that they got, that religious mindset they got. And sometimes the mindset of a heathen, not even a religious mindset, just the way that you're going about that's not even of the Most High. Like, certain people have certain ideas about the Most High that's not even biblical. Certain things that they try to do. Some of it is just witchcraft. Like, you can't pray for somebody else's wife or husband. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're with them already. You can't be, I'm just giving an example of the twisted mindset of the way people operate. You know, you can't be trying to covet something from somebody. You can't be praying for something somebody else got in general. You know what I'm saying? It's like they go against the word, and it's witchcraft, what it is. And they think that, hey, this is you praying for somebody's downfall. Like that, you're in your heart, you pulling against somebody's downfall. It's the same thing. You don't have to verbally say a prayer out loud. Your desire is like, it's just like manifestation. I mean, it's the same thing. You're sitting there, want something that the Most High don't want you to have. And it's the same thing, vice versa. You're against somebody because they may be headed in a direction that you want to go in. So you're trying to slow them down, and you're not doing nothing. So you don't have to go to see Madam X or one of these two-head witch doctors or nothing to get this done. This is happening with your own vain imagination. It's your imagination that's doing this. You know what I'm saying? One card works both ways. It works in the demonic realm, and it works in our realm. And that's what they do. They come together. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And that's why we come together. It's like it always mirrors the same thing. It goes back to behold how marvelous, how Hasatan keeps transforming himself into an angel of light and saying his ministers into ministers of righteousness. They're copycats. So when you say, well, there are 2 or 3 gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst. They gather together 2 and 3. And there is Hasatan and the tricks they doing in the midst of them. It's like they get together and they pull against you. Is it? So we have to look at this stuff too. And I'm just giving the example to step outside the box, because when you're dealing with deliverance ministry, you have to look at all these things are so. Like a lot of stuff you notice, it ain't always got to be announced to the individual. Just keep your eyes open. See them. I mean, and don't see them, but at the same time, be aware when you see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with everything is energy. You don't have to be, I don't have to go into no whole spiritual spiel to explain this. It just is what it is. You have to get in position and learn about what the Most High wants you to learn about without crossing the line. It's just normal way of going. You need to know when you're in the midst of an energy thief, you know what I'm saying? In the midst of somebody that's actually just draining, you know what I mean? Like that. And it's like the Most High may not even want you to be around this person. I give those that don't even understand a simple example of this, because we can't get into the meat of it, but just dealing with the milk, someone that every time you see them, they're constantly griping and complaining. That's an energy thief. I mean, every time you see them, they always got the negative to say about something. It's like they can't receive a compliment at all either. They still say something negative back about that. It's like when you're dealing with that, that's somebody that's just totally contrary, and their energy level is totally off concerning the Most High. It's like they're not positive. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Most High, he don't want you to operate in a ruach of negativity constantly. And when you always like constantly a mess starter. You know what I'm saying? If you go around this person, they ready to tell you something bad about somebody to try to downside this individual. It's like, okay, you hear this? Did you hear that? And anybody that's like that constantly, if you think about that, that's a ruach. If this is your mind frame, the vital work of you, when every time I go around you, you got the tea or whatever you want to call it, you got some juice, something you need to tell me about somebody, then this is how you operate. When I run into you, this is the first thing you do, start running off at the mouth. I already know that's what you are. You're a talebearer. It's a ruach. That's what it is. It's in you. And that's what you have to be aware of. When somebody's like that, it's not good to be yoked to somebody like that. You got to deal with them, like the old folks say, we deal with them with a long handled spoon and feed them out a long handled spoon. You can't be right up next shoulder to shoulder with somebody that operates like that, because it's contagious. And it's contagious because what are you doing when they're saying that like that? Like I've heard people say stuff about people and I'd be like, oh yeah. Just told my wife about this the other day. Somebody was saying somebody said, what's this? I said, oh yeah. And they just go to the next step. I'm not gonna say, yeah, you know, they this and that. They open that door for you to get in it too. So now you wrapped up in it and they got you in the web. My answer would be real quick and sharp. Be like, oh yeah. And then I want to know what they got to say next. If they say something next, whatever, they don't have to say nothing next. Because I'm not gonna give my part on it if I don't have an experience with that particular situation where like that. And if I do, I may not be led to tell to them right then, because it may not be fruitful. And this we have to realize, like, this is the stuff we have to deal with. But just back to what I was saying, like, you know, individual don't have to have no counters and that now to pull against you and to do things against you in the, you know, in the ruach. You know what I'm saying? You have to be aware of these things. You have to know when you're dealing with the children of light versus the children of darkness, because they're one that masquerade as the children of light, but they are the children of darkness. They may have some actual inspiration about themselves, about the Most High, some biblical knowledge, but it don't mean that they're right at the time. It don't mean that they're right at the time just because they may even know the Most High, get the word of the Most High. Because even when you look at Balaam and Balak, when they talk about Baal Peor later on down the line, they say he was a soothsayer and they slayed him. But when you was looking at him, he was dealing with the Most High and talking to him. Satan came in the midst of him and talked to the Most High. So this we have to realize, like, we have to open our mind and break this thing down and realize that all the powers that be are ordained by Yah. This is just inside information. This is like a nugget. Like all the powers that be are ordained by Yah. Just because someone has the word of Yah don't mean that they're directly with the Most High at that time. That's the thing. So we have to realize that people's life changing. You may catch them on the flip side. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So it's like you have to always be ready. Be instant, in season, out of season. Keep your eyes open. My spiritual eyes be open. I see what be going on, but I don't speak on a lot because that's not how I'm built, because I don't have anything to prove. I see it and then I just, you know, just let it play out like that. It's the same thing, the same way I was when I was in the street. It was like I see crowds that don't need to be ran with, I said, okay, looking at that, next thing you know, they locked up. I've seen it numerous of times when the Most High was with me back then, where I would get away from certain situations and something happened, they started shooting. You know, when you're out there in the streets, it was like there was something on my life back then where I was already aware of certain things. I would say, hey, look, y'all don't need to go there and do this because this ain't gonna, and they'll say whatever they want to say, you weak or whatever like that, or you don't want to go. Whatever the situation was, you know, it was what it was. I said it, and then later on down the line, they say certain stuff never got locked up. So this was happening for real, like that. I mean, and so it's like, you know, it's like now it's the same thing. It's like now the Ruach HaKodesh is there with that wisdom. And so now when I see what's happening, it's like I'm held at a high accountability because I know better. So with me knowing better, it's like the clock is always ticking. So at some point I have to line straight up. I can't keep going. You know, I got to line straight up. And I say that because it's like you don't have to be stealing, robbing, cheating, or doing anything to not be in line. It's simple stuff that'll keep you out of line. A little leaven, the whole lump. It can be something that people may say, well, that ain't really nothing. But it's a lot between you and the Most High, because he said, look, this ain't you. Like this is what I need you to do to be set apart to do the work I need you to do. And so I'm just dealing with that, you know, for us dealing with the uproot stuff. But sometimes we have to uproot things out of our own self too. And sometimes we have to, you know, plant other things back. You know, saying, so we have to make sure that our characteristics are right at all times. Our mind frame is right. We have to get our mind right to make sure that we're not on a negative spirit. One time I got off on a very negative spirit one time behind stress, and it's like I had to figure that out. I said, look, this ain't me. Line back up and get back where I need to be at. That's the thing, and it happens. Stress will cause a lot of things. It'll cause you to make ill-advised decisions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't do things when you I would say emotional. Like if you're really excited and happy, sometimes it'll cause you to do that. If you're excited, like even in church, sometimes you were too happy and you may have gave something you weren't supposed to give at the time because it went from the Most High, and you it was because you got inspiration, you got carried away, and bam, now you didn't gave your rent money. Because they say, hey, look, everybody, I'm just giving you an example. It's not good. Even when you're excited to make these decisions, you have to make sure that you have a sound mind because you're not sober. When you're excited, either way, whether it be for evil or good, you're not sober at that time. You don't have a sound mind to make that decision because your emotions are high and the energy level is so high, and you're making a choice based upon how you feel. And that's not how this works. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a choice based upon what's right or wrong. That's why even when you dealing with discipline sometimes, when it comes to children, whatever it may be, sometimes you have to gather yourself together and say, look, I know I had a bad day, so look, right now, I'm not going to deal with it, but I'll get back to you later. And so you didn't calm down, and whatever may have been real harsh now may have been a little bit milder, but it's still a firm discipline that you gave them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're just trying to make sure, you know, we make the right decision and be wise at all times, and also be aware of the tricks and snares of the enemy, people that he put in our path to try to stop us from going in a direction that he have us going in, just because they are not going in that direction. They feel like they're supposed to be doing it first or whatever. That competition, it's out there, and it's actually out there real heavy. That's why people battle each other so much on social media in the world of this religious talk that they have, where you mad about a scripture, now you start downsizing this individual and assassinating their character because y'all had a scriptural difference, whatever you want to call it. It ain't even worth it. Like, what is it about? Like, at the end of the day, is that fruitful? And so this we have to be mindful of. We don't have nothing to prove to anybody but the Most High. And as long as we prove that to the Most High, we can be confident in that. Because at the end of the day, everybody that don't make it into the kingdom, they going to hell, whether they want to or not. Same for me. That's what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I say so be it, unless it's anything you got to say about it, because I'm pretty much running my mouth. Father, y'all, we thank you for the word that went forth. We thank you right now for just being with us and leading and guiding us throughout the rest of this day. Once again, we thank you that this is a day that you have made, and we should continue to rejoice and be glad in it. In the name of your son, Yahushua Mashiach, we pray. So be it.
Amen.